believe that state funds should not be used to fund a school of a particular faith. It clearly violates separation of church and state. It's a personal choice to send your child to a religious school, and it would stretch the already limited budget for public education too far, and it would break it. To begin with, in the United States Constitution, there's the Establishment Clause that says there's a clear separation of church affairs and state affairs. This was first proposed by John Locke, an English philosopher. His idea was to separate the two and as to not promote a particular religion over another one. This also helps create or keep the United States federal government from establishing one national religion. It also said that no taxpayer money would be used to fund a particular religion, giving it an advantage over another one. Now, to send your student to a private religious school is a personal choice. Every person has the right to choose what they want. Now, the state is required by law to provide education to all students. Now, this is to be an unreligious, unbiased education. It does not say that they're going to provide a faith-based education. That's personal choice. And if a parent chooses that, that's the choice of their parent, and they need to fund it themselves. No state money should be used to fund a personal choice. If states were to fund private religious schools, funding would be stretched too thin. As it is now in most public school districts, the budget's very tight. Many teachers are having to have overcrowded classrooms filled with too many students. It's difficult to get a hand on all these students, and because there's so many students, it starts to affect the quality of their education. If we allow parents to choose a faith-based school to send their child off to, it would start to stretch the funding too far. That would mean that a parent could pick any student that their student, and send it to any school they want. So then the state would have to fund that. It's not going to work. The state only has the funding to provide public, unreligious education. Now, I'm not opposed to religion. I'm all for it, but there is a clear distinction between church affairs and state affairs. I believe that state funding should not be used to fund a religious-based school. It's a clear violation of the separation of church and state. It's a personal choice that shouldn't be funded by the government. It should be funded out of pocket for that individual, and it would provide it would stretch the funding for public education too far, and it would sacrifice the ability of students to learn in our public system.